Hello and welcome to an exclusive hour-long programme with me, Alex Belfield, talking to, well, one of my favourite people and the author of a brand new book called Tough Love. Kerry Katona, how are you?
I'm very well, how are you?
I'm fabulous, thank you. And so nice to see you because I really love you. I think you're so warm and you're so endearing, and I'm worried about you because I read so much in the papers. Are you okay, firstly?
Right, first of all, I'm absolutely fine. Never been healthier, never been happier.
Good.
Feel great. Don't believe everything you read.
You've got this new novel out. We're going to talk in detail about that in a moment because it's a real sidestep for you, really. You're doing proper novels now opposed to talking about yourself so much. So that's fascinating in itself. You do get a difficult time because what it is, when you do publicity and you attract it, they can then attack you.
Yeah.
So then you have to come back and defend the attack. Is that good or bad? Do you mind or don't you mind?
I'm used to. I think what I've been attacked on lately, being off my head on GMTV. That's the latest one. Because I have bipolar, so I have my ups and downs. But I watched the interview back. I thought it looked great.
Well, I did as well, and I saw the article about that. And the thing is that...
Well, let's start again. The News of the World started this article off, first of all. So let's get that right. They don't like me very much. But I'm absolutely fine with it now. It's making the book get loads of publicity. So it's...
Is it worth it, though, because you're a mother, you're a wife? Do you really need all of this nonsense that goes on around you?
No, I would rather not do with any of it, to be honest with you. But it's not me that goes to the paper and say, listen, I was off my head on GMTV. Will you write about it, please? I don't go to my mother and say, Mother, will you go and write a story saying I'm an unfit mother and I should have my kids took off me, please? Excuse me, mate, who doesn't look old enough to have sex, can you go and tell somebody that we done something round the back of Tesco, please? It's no do with me. This is just, all these stories come from three people. Matt's and girlfriend's gay.
Allegedly.
No, he is, honestly.
Well, I don't know that any of those three things you've just said are true.
That's absolutely right, but they all come from the three people. And unfortunately, I was brought up with the beggars, the backstabbers, the thieves, who were my friends and family, and drug takers, and I was one of them. And I hoped that when I done the autobiography, admitting it, that I did have a drug problem. It was more, I was a drug abuser. I wasn't a drug addict, I was an abuser. I thought by admitting that, and letting people know that I've been clean for the last 3 years, it still follows you. I thought I was, saying the right thing, they'll leave me alone now, but it still follows you, it still hangs around you, but...
I think the problem is when you do interviews to promote whatever you're doing currently, whether it's the autobiography or the new book, it then opens up a whole new can of worms for them to attack you again. So it keeps going full circle and full circle. Is there not a point where you think, all right, enough is enough. I've had enough heartache. I've had enough embarrassment. I've had enough hurt for my family. I just need to go away and be a mother and a wife and a happy person. And if that means me working in Tesco's, that's what I have to do.
Oh, many times. Could you have said Iceland at least?
Yeah, you're corporate. I like it.
Many times I've thought that, but I can't just hand my resignation in like that and stop being famous. I can't stop the paparazzi sitting outside my house and taking pictures. It doesn't work like that. I can't go in. Who do I go into and say, right, I don't want to be famous anymore? And let's be honest, who's going to listen?
But if you went away, they wouldn't care so much. That's the thing. That's the reality of it.
One of the things is all these stories in the papers, I'm majority of the time just sat at home and I'll get a phone call and I'll go, oh, did I now? Well, that's funny because I've been here all week, or I've been on my honeymoon. Oh, I dumped the kids while I went away on my honeymoon, I just took them to Italy, but me and Mark wanted to go away for a week, so I've dumped the kids again. So no matter where I go, even if I'm not in the public eye like the Maldives, it's still going to happen. So you can't, it's a catch-22, really.
But eventually they would get bored because they would be a new...
Well, that's what I'm hoping, but it's been over, I think since the divorce from my ex-husband. It wasn't from I'm a Celebrity. I think from the divorce from my ex-husband, that's when it's all built up.
For me, you see, if anybody attacks me or makes one negative comment, I stay in my bedroom with a locked door for a fortnight. I cannot take any criticism where I don't have a right of a reply. If they're right, I don't mind. But what I don't understand how you cope with is when somebody says you did this and that was bad and you know it wasn't true and you have no way of defending yourself. That would drive me insane.
Well, I suffer with an illness called bipolar, so like today I'm a bit down, kind of level-headed, but sometimes when I do hear something like that, I will lock myself up in my bedroom. The kids will go to school and I'll sit in my bedroom, do my paint by numbers, because I like doing paint by numbers, so that's what I do. But I'm too busy. I've got 4 children at home. I'm too busy looking after them lot.
And let's talk about the bipolar a minute and put that aside. Explain for those who don't know what it is and how you're medicated for it and how you deal with it.
Well, I'm on medication for life, but bipolar is kind of like a new name for a manic depressive. So you have your ups where great, and I've got a big spending spree, and I'm dead excited, and I've got full life, and I'm all over the place. And then you have your downs, which you can cry for no reason, and a tiny little thing will upset me, or I'll be dead moody. I mean, I feel sorry for Mark because he's got put up with it as well. But I'm on medication, which I'll be on medication for life for. So it just kind of medication. You still have your moments, but it kind of levels you out a bit.
I don't feel sorry for him in one way because he's with you, and you are clearly a talented young woman who is so successful in many, many ways. I would be interested to ask him the question: did he consider the consequences of being with Kerry Katona? Because that draws so much attention to him, and presumably he doesn't want it.
You could have asked him. He's outside.
Oh, is he? Oh, we'll bring him in later if he's willing.
You can bring him in. He'll answer that for you. I think when I got with him, I said, you see, what hurts me is I sometimes feel bad on his family because, unfortunately, I tried to say that he was a drug dealer, and the embarrassment that I felt from that his mother must have thought, what's he doing with this girl? I just couldn't apologise enough. I mean, she's even gone on to say that he's a mass murderer. I mean, you've got to laugh about it. I mean, while he's drug dealing, he goes out and murders people as well. In the meantime of having affairs and, coming up with the idea of robbing our own house, which he got accused of as well. I mean, you meet the bloke; he's a down-to-earth guy.
What I don't understand is how you can again come to terms with someone who you should be able to trust stabbing you in the back. It's a horrible, horrible business where everybody has an opinion. That's what's, for me, the most difficult thing about this job. Everybody has an opinion and have a right to have an opinion because we're here. Yeah. Therefore, they can say I'm rubbish. Have you now just completely given up hope that you will ever reconcile with your mother and put this behind you? Because so much has been said publicly.
You see, I was always waiting for it to happen with my mother. I mean, my mother was never in my life, really, up until I got famous, that she had a constant stay in my life. And I think I always tried to prove myself worthy for her love, because I never felt worthy enough. I mean, the first time my mum slit her wrist, I was 3 years of age. And that went up until I was 15, and she wanted to kill herself and die. And I thought, well, aren't I good enough for you to want to stay on this planet? So I always felt like I was trying to buy her love and affection, which when I got an atomic kitten, that's how it turned out to be. And drugs was one of it. My mum was the first person who gave me my first drug. And then when me and Brian split up, I was around my mum's. My mum was like, come on, let's get some cocaine, get the money out. So I was getting the money out. My friends were coming round. I was buying the drugs. My mum had me under her thumb. I was the money train for my mother. Luckily enough, Mark came along and saw all this. And just, said, this isn't right. She's taking the Michael out of your ear. And my mum knew then that I've got a backbone in me now and she's not going to do it anymore. So my mum done her best to try and split us up, and he's still doing it because without me, she's got nothing. I mean, she still lives in the house that I've bought. But that's how my mum's always been. I mean, she slept with one of my boyfriends when I was 15. She put me into care. I always expected it from my mum, but when it did happen, it did destroy me because I've never met my real dad. I've got a good circle of friends around me now. I've got Mark's friends, his family around me. I've got, my stepdads back in my life, my stepsisters, my stepbrothers. And I've just completely moved away from Warrington because my mum has this influence on people, which she's a self-confessed cocaine addict anyway. So getting away from her was a big step in my life.
I saw an interview with you on This Morning a few months ago with Philip and Fern, and I could have literally cried watching them interviewing you and your reaction. They were so upset by it and traumatised by the way you talk so honestly, like you just have about your family. Surely nobody deserves this in life, really. We come into this world and all we expect is a mother and father that love us. You didn't really have either, and that's so unfair. I don't want to keep being negative because I want this to be a positive interview, but presumably now you've found that positive place with your new husband and your kids. Are you able to put all this behind you and move on from it?
It took me a long time. I mean, like you just said, I used to think, do I really deserve this? It doesn't stop, but I really believe what goes around comes around. I believe in bad karma. I hate to say it, but I know I'm a good person, I'm a loyal person, I'm a good friend. I wouldn't do anybody any harm. And, you know, all these people that have done these stories, I've been there for them. I am a good person and I don't deserve this, but, you know, I'm the one that's going to die with a clear conscience at the end of the day. You know, they aren't. And it's a curve, it's a learning curve, you know. It's made me who I am, it's made me a strong person, and I'm happy. I'm really happy and content with my life at the minute.
Good. I'm pleased to hear that. We're going to talk about the new book next. It's in the stores now. It's Kerry Katona's Tough Love. It's the brand new book. It's an amazing life you've had. You've probably had more life experience than anyone else I know. The things that you've gone through and overcome, the relationships you've had, the children you've now got. Let's talk about when it all kind of went downhill. Was it during Atomic Kitten or after it, or had it already gone wrong before that?
Well, if you read the autobiography, I had a really tough upbringing, really tough. But I'm not the only one to have had a tough upbringing. I'm not one to feel sorry for myself. Oh, poor me. You know, at the end of the day, I'm really lucky. I've got, you know, 4 beautiful, healthy... When I say 4, I have my stepdaughter that lives with us as well, who we've got custody of at the minute. I've got 4 beautiful children at home. I've got a great husband. I've got 2 dogs and a cat and a house. You know, the dream I always wanted as a kid, you know, that 2 up, 2 down. You know, it's not so... No, but it's bigger now, the dream I had, you know, and this family's getting bigger, and it's what I've always wanted. I think when I say I went downhill, to say I went downhill would have been when Brian left me. Not so much Brian leaving me, I think moving back to Warrington from Ireland, moving back to Warrington and getting my mum more back involved in my life and being around the drug scene. That, I say, was a personal downhill for me, to think, I can't believe I've got this low, that I'm turning to drugs to give me a high. That, in a way that I thought, I'm turning into my mother. I need help, get me away. And I went to rehab. I went to rehab for 6 weeks in Phoenix, in Arizona, which was great.
What I'm about to say isn't meant to sound righteous or condescending. I have never tried a drug, and I'll tell you why. I've got such an addictive personality. I know I would be the one that would be absolutely addicted and probably end up dying of it immediately. Also, I haven't got the money for it. Yeah. It was probably the money that opened that up to you and all of this new life, was it?
Not so much so. Like I said, I was 15. This was before I ever got famous. That my mum...
So you were on cocaine and the hard drugs?
I can't remember now, but my mum gave me speed.
What happens when your mum comes to you with a drug? How did she enable you to take that? What did she say to you to make you think that she thought it was all right?
She told me it was sherbet. She was in the toilet with... My mum was in a relationship with a woman for a few years, and we was in a pub called the Old Ball, and I went in the toilets and she was taking this white powder, and I said, "What is it?" She went, "It's sherbet." And put a load of it on my thing and put it on my tongue, and that's, you know, I was like... You know, and but what it was, because everyone was so happy and I hadn't seen anybody like this, everyone was great and in great form. I was like, well, this is how it's supposed to be. My mum's happy, she doesn't want to kill herself, her girlfriend's happy, everyone's happy. Yay, at last, you know, it's this drug, it's great. Of course, then, you know, moved on to bigger things, harder things, the cocaine, which they say is a rich man's speed. My mum's doing it, then her friends are coming round doing it. Oh my God, this is even better. You know, everyone's even happier. I've got the money, everybody loved me. I felt worthy of my mum's love. I felt worthy of everybody's love. Great, I'll buy some more. Come on round, let's have a drink. Oh, Kerry, get up on the karaoke and sing. And let's have a good old knees up. And it was great for me because everyone was happy. We'll all have a sing-song. You know, we smoke our heads off. We drink loads of drink. And everyone's happy and jolly. So I thought, well, this is great. Brian's left me, you know. I'm not upset. I didn't grieve for about a year after, till it really hit me, until I got myself clean, that I realised, oh my God, you know, my marriage has broke down because I was getting off my head. And let me just state the fact that this is when my children were away. It was always when I wasn't a drug addict, I was a drug abuser. I started to abuse it then. Right. I thought, well, this is great because, you know, I can deal with all the press. Everyone wants to be my friend now. My mum thinks I'm worthy enough. She don't want to kill herself because I've got all this money keeping her alive.
Help me with this question. Was there nobody in your life at 14 who could have stepped in and go, for Christ's sake, somebody come and save Kerry?
Well, I was in care because I got put into care because my mum's fella told us he was Freddy Krueger and wanted to chop our feet off and our hands off. And he
Right.
he actually stabbed my mum.
Right. Stabbings, cocaine, this is all just day in the life of Kerry Katona,
Yes.
is it? Right, okay.
It's not the only stabbing that's gone on in their life. So I got put in care. I was only allowed to have supervised visits with my mum. And then she finally did leave him because she said I made it all up. She finally left him and moved back to Warrington. And so, again, I was another meal ticket for her because she wasn't always in my life. She'd pop in every now and then because I was either with family members or my stepdad, or I was in the foster care, or I was with this foster parent. And she came back in my life. And, of course, it's my mum. You know, I'm the only child. I don't know my real dad. And so she became more like my best friend, you know, asking me questions, you know, have you lost your virginity? You know, yeah, have a drink. And all my friends thought she was dead cool. So I'd have a drink with her. So she was always there, and I always wanted to defend my mum because she had a tough upbringing as well. So it was more like I was the mother and she was the daughter. I mean, I could have said, look, my mum's giving me drugs, but I didn't want to betray my mum. I didn't want to turn my back on her and say, I know what she's doing wrong, but at the end of the day, I so wanted her to be happy and love me that I would have stood by her and, you know, do anything that she wanted.
Was there one person in your life throughout, a constant, who worried about you, who cared for you, who stood up for you?
I'd say my stepsister, who's 2 years older than my mum. It's very confusing.
Your stepsister's 2 years older than your mum?
Yeah.
How old's she then?
She's 50 next year.
And your mother's 48?
Yes, she's 48 in January.
That is a complete mind fart, isn't
Well,
it?
when I was born, my mum was going out with this bloke who I called Dad.
Right,
So his dad was my granddad.
right.
But she left my dad for my granddad. So my dad became my stepbrother.
God, if you weren't here, you'd be on Trisha, wouldn't you? I'm serious. If we were,
And my granddad became my dad. None of them were my dad by blood. But
if you weren't a star, you would be on Jeremy Kyle, wouldn't you? This is unbelievable. I thought my life was exciting because I had tried quiche Lorraine at 13. I mean, this is the only exciting thing that ever happened to me, Kerry. We'll move on to the Atomic Kitten years now.
Yeah.
I think really you only had one big hit with them, didn't you? You had several
Yeah.
songs, but one big hit.
I had 4 singles. I had Right Now, See Ya, I Want Your Love, and Follow Me. And they were all top 10 hits, apart from Follow Me. And Whole Again was number 1.
What went wrong? How did it happen that the girl from Warrington, who was nothing, became one of the biggest stars in the country, and then decided that wasn't for her?
I got pregnant and wanted to be a mum.
Do you have a self-destructing philosophy with your life that you get something amazing happen to you and then you destroyed it by getting pregnant?
To be honest with you, me and Brian didn't plan Molly, but there was nothing more amazing for me, and the bigger opportunity was to become a mother and be the best mother I could be. That was a bigger opportunity than any number 1 single as far as I'm concerned.
So you don't have any regrets about that?
None whatsoever. No, well, I know it sounds awful, but where are they now? And I think once you've made it, people start to change. I haven't changed. I'm still down to earth. I fart and burp like everybody else. Might smell a little sweeter because I'm a celebrity. I'm just kidding. But, you know, people start to change around you. And, you know, I just wanted to stay me and be me. And, you know, I wanted to be a mum. And that to me was, like I said, better than any number 1 hit single.
Obviously, the kids are beautiful. That's blatantly obvious to everybody.
Of course they are. I made them.
Well, of course. and you're beautiful yourself. That's why you got in the group. Let's face it, with all 3 of you, I mean, it wasn't necessarily for your beautiful voices, was
No.
it? Let's talk about that feeling, because obviously I'm deeply unattractive. How does it feel?
No,
it's
you're
true.
not.
How does it feel to walk in a room and have people look at you and go, oh my God, she's gorgeous?
Oh, give over. No, that's never happened.
You know that's the truth.
No. I think people might have gone, oh my God, they're massive.
And they are.
I think they might have done that, but I wouldn't have actually gone to the extent to say, oh my God, she's stunning in the face. It was more like, you know, blonde hair, big boobs, the loud mouth, the one that can draw the attention, and I got all them secrets in a closet. We're definitely going to get publicity here.
They definitely were. I think, though, your personality, your charisma and your openness is the reason that you're here today,
Yeah.
and maybe the other girls from the group are not. So you got together with Brian. How did you meet him?
Just doing loads of different gigs around the country. Bumping into him, he asked me out a few times, and I said, listen mate, just because you're in a boy band, don't think I'm going to be another notch on your bedpost. And that is really what I said. And just hanging out and, you know, kind of went from there, really.
So how long was it you were saying clear off before you said, all right then, come on, let's put a notch on the bedpost? No, was it 40 minutes, was it? 25 minutes?
No, it was much longer than that. Much longer than that. Oh, God, now you're asking me to go back. I really can't remember. I do actually. We met in the September, and the 27th of November, 1999, I had my first kiss with him.
How marvellous.
Yes.
And you went on to have 2 kids,
yes.
2 gorgeous kids, and it went wrong.
Brian left me because he fell out of love with me. And then, I was living in Ireland. I moved back to Warrington because my mum was there.
So you were totally clean during the period when you were with Brian?
So then I turned to drugs.
How does it feel when you're a father, do you think, when you then read that your ex-wife has changed and that she's now into drugs and she's the mother of your 2 children? How do you think he perceived that, and what did he say to you in terms of the children? Because they would be his primary concern, wouldn't they?
have many, 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 many opinions on this matter, but unfortunately I'm not going to disclose it because it's Molly and Lily's daddy at the end of the day. I unfortunately no longer speak to Brian, and of course we're in a custody battle, which I can't speak for legal reasons, so I have to be very careful what I say. I mean, I can only imagine he must be distraught, he must be petrified, thinking his kids are being abused and looked after, but I hopefully know he thinks he knows me better than that. Well, knows I wouldn't do that.
I had 2 words for you, Britney Spears. I think if that was true, you wouldn't have the kids, would you?
How many times have I been asked about Britney Spears?
Well, but that's true, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it is completely true. And I wish the media would leave Britney Spears alone. I mean, in America, it's 10 times worse. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, every time we see a picture, there's people with video cameras, camcorders round her. I mean, that must drive her insane. And, I mean, she's got a good family background as well. She's got a great mum there. She's got 2 beautiful sons. She needs to get in rehab and stay in rehab. I'd just grab her and shake her and say, look what you've got. You know?
Which is what somebody should have done to you way before you got in the situation you did, really. You need somebody around you.
I wouldn't change it. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't change it, you know. Life's a learning curve, isn't it? And, you know, I've been there now and I've tried it, and it's still made me the person who I am.
I'm not saying...
Unfortunately, I shouted a bit loud then. Unfortunately, the only downside is it follows you for the rest of your life. I will always be known now as the drug-taking cocaine mother, you know? But hey, I know the truth. I know I'm clean. I know my kids are healthy, so...
Another question about this. Do you think you can cope with that amount of fame? You had it to a point, let alone what Britney's had, at that age, with that amount of money, for that intense period, for that long. It seems to me that nobody could deal with that kind of pressure.
I think it was about 5 years ago that Britney Spears was voted the most influential, powered celebrity in the world. And she was, 18 or something? No. I wouldn't mind the money, but I certainly wouldn't mind. Well, it's bad enough. A lot of people say to me, my friends, I wouldn't swap my life for you in the world. You know, all the intrusion. I certainly wouldn't want to swap it with Britney.
No, I wouldn't either. And intrusion regarding your life, how bothered are you? You're here today. I didn't see too many paps outside, although there were some guys waiting for autographs. Did they bother you?
Yeah, I signed their autographs. I have press outside my house every day. Of course, I don't live here in London, but I do have press outside the house every day.
Why? Why do you think they're sat there? What are they waiting for?
I asked the same question. I have no idea. Probably, I've probably see me walking out with a load of cocaine around my nose or something. I've no idea.
And what do? They just pap you when you come out of the house and they pap you when you go in? Presumably then you have to shut your curtains all day long because they'll be...
Well, no, luckily enough my living room's at the back.
Right.
I don't know, I guess it's...
Do you just ignore it now?
I'm oblivious to them. I mean, don't get me wrong, I know some of the lads and the sound lads, and I'll actually say, do you want a cup of tea? Because, they're sat outside all day in the car. Do you want a brew, lads?
So who's financing that? Who's paying them to sit there, or are they paying themselves?
I asked one of them. Some of them get a weekly wage, and then depending on what the picture is, and if there's you see, it's not the press that bother me. What bothers me is the reporters, the press. I've asked the lads, I was honest with them. I said, so how much do you get? Some of them are on a weekly wage. Some of them are freelancers where they say like 3 of the photographers and they'll get a picture depending on what the story is. Like to get my first picture of the bump, they'll get the money from that goes to different magazines and all the... There was like a picture of me topless on a holiday in Marbella when I just found out I was pregnant with Heidi, and I think they got £25,000 for that, which is just ridiculous, isn't it?
Well, it's also your
Just for
money,
me-
really, isn't it, as well?
Well, that doesn't bother me, you know, like that really does.
Oh, it bother me.
I just find it, 25 grand to get me wops out. It's just ludicrous that somebody wants to... I don't see the big deal.
We'll talk about the new book, Tough Love, which is in the stores now. This book is very different because it's a novel. It's not about you, although there seems to be a lot of similars.
Yeah. Well, of course, I'll be honest with you, I didn't write the book because I'm dyslexic, so I wouldn't be able to sit down and put it word for word and all the spellings and all the grammar properly. What my part of the job of coming up with was sitting down with a ghostwriter called Annie and saying, she'd come up with a few ideas for me, and I'd go, okay, then I don't want to give too much away, but, you know, how are we going to make him have an affair with her? And how can we twist the story that comes out? I'm dead scared of what I say. How are we going to twist it that comes out and he could possibly be or not be, you know? So that was great. And as you know, my background, all the different characters, it wasn't hard to find these kind of characters.
So are you the new Jackie Collins, then?
I'd like to say Marty Nicole.
Oh, really? Okay, all right. So is that a bit more classy? I don't know anything about Martina.
You don't know me? Oh, God.
I'm a guy. I'm not interested, sorry.
She does all the underground books
Right.
and, you know, I love her. I met her at a book award about 2 years ago and she was proper cut now. You all right, darling? You know, she was lovely, really good.
Now, there's a question I've got to ask you about this book writing thing. Is this going to be you from now on? Is this what you're going to be known for? Kerry the author, not Kerry the anything else?
No. Do you honestly think that will ever happen? As much as I'd like to just be known as Kerry the good mother, I'm always going to be classed as Kerry something or other. No, I've got another 2 books coming out after this. I'm also doing a short film with Mackenzie Crook. So I'm interested. I like to do acting. That's my main thing that I want to do.
Any more music, or are we done with that?
Oh, I don't know. I think we're done with that. Maybe. If it would, it'd be more cover versions than anything. I don't think I've really got the body to be a pop star prancing around on a stage now, have I?
I don't know. There's a lot of people who like looking at that body. Talking of which, Mark's in the studio, your new husband. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What is it about this woman, then, that did it for you?
Meaning...
I mean, there's a lot of baggage that comes with Kerry. The fact that you've got pap set outside your house every hour of the day.
I don't know, I can't answer that.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Was
Do
it
I
just-
make you laugh?
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah. She makes me laugh.
Why
She
you-
is quite funny. She is, in her own way.
Well, she's obviously a big personality. That's why everybody loves her. There's a huge baggage that comes with somebody like Kerry. Just because she's a star, you clearly don't want to be showbiz. Why would you want to have a relationship with somebody who brings you all of that attention that you don't necessarily want? Is it just she was just so amazing you had no choice?
Because I love her.
Simple as that.
That's her job and I've got my job. Her job's showbiz, my job's driving.
And what about the paps outside the house? It would drive me insane.
The ones who are outside the house are all right. There's 2 or 3 of them who we have who we know sometimes buy a brew now and again and they buy us one back, but there's only 1 or 2 who come up who we don't really like or we don't know. The others, you know, if we go out and we're with the kids and we say, look, lads, don't take any pictures, they won't. Or they'll ask if they can come with us and take pictures. So they're not too bad, the ones outside the house. It's the ones who write the stories with the pictures they send in who are not too friendly.
So how much did you know about Kerry before you actually got to form the relationship where you got married?
Just what you read, isn't it, really? You know, you don't bump into celebrities every day. So it's only what I've read, really, so...
And what was your perception of her? Come on, be honest.
Mark's very new to this radio interview. He's not done one before.
He's doing very well if you let him answer.
I know,
Let him
okay.
answer.
Well, as she was saying, when they wrote the book, I was there with Fanny, the ghostwriter who did the book for Kerry, so I got quite a lot of info in a short period of time. Like, they wrote a book in 6 months, I think it took, was it, roughly? So I got to see all her life in 6 months. Which, when most people first start dating somebody, they don't get that lot in 6 months, do they?
And what an extraordinary life as well. I mean, just remarkable.
It's different.
I'll tell you how I feel about Kerry, and I said this the minute she walked in the door. I just wanted to give her a hug. The crap that she goes through and the things that people say about her must break her heart. I think one of the most disgusting headlines I read in the last year or so was the headline about you taking coke whilst pregnant with your last child. That presumably is the greatest insult for any mother. When you read that and you opened the News of the World that Sunday, how did you feel and how did you react?
Well, I was expecting it because it was my friend who'd done the story. So it didn't surprise me, but that devastated me. Like I said, I wasn't on my medication then because they couldn't find a healthy medication for my bipolar while I was pregnant. So my hormones and my ups and downs everywhere, but that disgusted me, and I think the majority of people who read it just knew it was a load of baloney. I mean, look at the source that it came from.
But there will be some who will believe it, and that's the shocking thing.
A lot of people do believe it, and that sometimes I think, God, what do people think of me? But I've had so much encouragement walking down the street from fans. Oh, Kerry, we love you. Oh, keep your chin up. We think you're great. We don't believe it. I've never had one bad person come up to me and say anything. It's also, oh, we think you're great. We don't believe a single word of it. That was harsh. And this came from a girl because I had her working for us to help her out. Found out that she was on benefits. I said, well, you can't do it, because I'd get into a lot of trouble for it as well.
What recourse do you have when somebody says something like that against you? Surely it's libelous, isn't it?
It is liable, yeah, but I can't really.
We'd be suing every single person.
We'll be suing everybody all the time, but I can't go into too much. Like I said before, what goes round comes round, and I can't say too much.
Well, I don't know what you're trying to say, but you've just said it.
Yeah.
I read everything about you, and all that I ever want to do is hug you, because it seems to me, even if it's true, it's tragic, and most of the time it's not true, which is even more tragic, because I don't know how you deal with it. I've said to you before, when people write things about me, I go insane. I think about it all day long. It ruins my week. You have it done to you every day, and the fact that you're even sat here today smiling is a miracle. And congratulations, Mark, on the wedding and being together. I hope you have a life of happiness. You deserve it.
Thank you.
Thanks. Nice to meet you,
Thank
Mark.
you.
And Kerry, good luck with your brand new book. It's called Kerry Katona, Tough Love. It's in your stores now. It's a good read. The ladies will love this. It's going gangbusters. And thank you for talking to me. It has genuinely been one of the most insightful hours I've ever done on the radio.
Oh.
And I hope to talk to you again.
Thank you
Kerry
very much.
Katona.
Cheers.